Hi and welcome to this new episode of The Light Leaders. Today I'm with Fabrice Maravigna. He's been on the show before and we're going to talk about cryptos, review the year of 2021 and also what's up for 2022. As a quick intro to Fabrice, you've been in cryptos for 7 years now. You're managing 7-figure portfolios and you've bought some of the best courses also on cryptos from Brian Rose, London Real, and Alexander Lorenzo. You're also deep into a lot of personal growth, learn from top self-development gurus. You're really into detox, tantra, many topics, and you're also a really good friend of mine. So I'm super happy to have you again on the show.
Thank you, Alex. You sure know how to build someone up. I feel very seen and loved. But yeah, it's true. For the last decade, I really gave myself the best chance to learn and grow. Coming from an average background, and today I live, in beautiful Bali, and I'm very fortunate to have a good lifestyle. So, thank you for having me on your show.
And you also want to be tea master.
As you can see, we're drinking tea. Yes, very fancy, but that's better than drinking alcohol these days. It's very healthy.
It's been a while actually. So, just to give a bit of context with Fabrice, we've just finished shooting for a new online crypto school that we've been building. The name is
Crypto Jedi. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
May the markets be with you, my friends.
And we just finished recording for the people on video. We're here in beautiful Nusa Lembonga, stunning villa. And we wanted to do a little podcast to share a bit on context around now into cryptos, but also while you listen to that podcast, it'll be around the release of that new crypto course, and we think it's a pretty exciting time in cryptos in general.
Your kimono is also pretty exciting, Alex.
It is,
yeah.
It is tea kimono. It's a good fit.
Beautiful. Okay.
And actually, I'm happy to have you also and have tea here because we came here to record the course, and we wanted to also have a good time. So of course, you brought your amazing tea, and it's been a while I've wanted to do a podcast with tea.
Yeah, it's a good concept.
Yeah,
I think
cool and chill.
I think you're one of the first, but that's also a concept I really love. Of course, I've been into tea for over 2 years, and I'm very grateful. I've been initiated by a beautiful friend here in Bali. But I think we're gonna have to see this more and more as you promote your message. Some people are all about money or whatever. We're also about health and alternative, and so you can just plug it in the background. You just drinking tea instead of having a beer or a glass of wine. And for whatever it's worth, this is a beautiful pu'er tea that's about 70 years old. It's really difficult to get your hands on these, but this is for sure medicine, and very grateful for all the people who look after that tea and make it age and brought it here. It's incredible.
Thank you, Fabrice. I think that will help the flow of this podcast to invite the consciousness of those ancient and very delicious teas.
Ancient wisdom.
Yeah. So, okay, cryptos.
Sure.
That's how we frame that. What's been happening in 2021? It's been an exciting year. It was a big bull run, and then it was a little bit, we didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, 2021 has been fun, for sure. A lot of people have made reasonable amount of money. Some people have made a lot of money, which happens in most bull markets, right? So you usually have a period that's kind of boring and people lose interest, and then everything starts to burst again. And
a lot of new things. I mean, DeFi exploded, NFTs,
new technologies coming
metaverse later.
Absolutely. And we see it quite often. So last bull market was 2017. Then it went flat for about 3 years. During these times, a lot of developers are developing new technologies, new interface, new apps on the phone to make it user-friendly for people like you and I. So what we see usually, we got a few years of development and then another blossoming period. So 2021 was pretty special. DeFi, we were early on in projects like Phantom and Avalanche, which are layer ones or alternative to Ethereum, because Ethereum even though it's
for DeFi just being decentralized finance.
decentralized finance.
Kind of replicating financial tools, but on the blockchain, cutting down the intermediaries. So usually they're faster, they're cheaper, anyone can participate.
Yeah, totally. We digitalizing finance from the older way of doing it to something that's really more efficient, more transparent, faster, cheaper. Basically, everything is better. So while a lot of newbies were looking at coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we were already positioning ourselves into, okay, what's the next project that could give good returns, right? Because it's my opinion that a lot of money has been made in crypto, in Bitcoin and Ethereum. To see a 10x on Bitcoin, I would say maybe if you're patient for many, many years, but that's why we're interested in other alternatives. And also
we had
Ethereum.
coins, we went to Shiba Inu and I think it like 200 X's. It did 200 X in like 6 months or something, and that's not going to happen to Bitcoin.
That meme coin was really fun for sure, and fortunate, good timing. But yeah, in 2021, we've seen Ethereum that started to reach scalability issues. Transaction fees are becoming outrageous, sometimes $200 or $300 just for one transaction, and the average person is just putting in a few hundred or a few $1,000s. So unless you're trading like a whale or you are like a fund, you know, if you don't move $10,000, you don't want to pay $200 for a $50 transaction. It makes 0 sense. So that's why we started to look at other protocols, and then also gaming started to come into the picture. So I believe DeFi was about 6 months ago. We had a great, oh, thank you, forgot about this.
I know.
I got carried away. So DeFi was, you have different areas, eras in crypto, right? So DeFi is great, but it's still very, very speculative. And there are not real network users. So people are jumping on Solana like, wow, this is the Ethereum killer, and institutional money flowed in, and then they realize, wow, the technology is not fully functional yet. There's a lot to address.
They're still in beta, Solana. It's
But
crazy.
also they don't have users. They don't have daily users, right? And we know that the actual value of any technology, maybe social media like Facebook or whatever, or even a cryptocurrency, the value of this technology is dictated by the number of users.
In part,
Mainly on the long term, because everybody can speculate, but then the bubble bursts and the real price reveals itself.
Yeah, you've had companies with a lot of users that they couldn't monetize, but yeah, in general, it's true.
So it's been a beautiful but also a tough year for Ethereum, in my opinion. We're gonna have to see the loyalty of these developers. We start to see a lot of L2, layer 2 technology, which are attempting to help Ethereum load transactions, you know.
Like Polygon being the biggest one at the moment.
Polygon, Matic, there are just many protocols who are trying to solve this problem, you know. But what I'm excited about, and you know this because you're in the loop as well. So I've been a Hexican. For those who thought Hex was just a scam, I feel sorry for you. You definitely missed a great gainer last year.
I trust you so much that even though I looked at it, I was like, it looks a bit scammy. I'll still put a little bit, and I'm grateful.
And that became a lot. And that's why you can wear this beautiful kimono today. But Richard Hart, in my opinion, is a visionary. He's arrogant. He's got a very high IQ. He's a very intelligent man, and it's difficult for him to deal with the level of conversation of, you know, lazy people drinking on their couch, asking about making $1 million doing nothing. There's a gap. Everybody wants to get rich, but few people want to actually create value into the marketplace. So Richard Hart, in my opinion, is an incredible man. When I looked into his project about 1.5 years ago, I was like, whoa, I think we're onto something big. I was curious, why is this not even advertised? And the only advertisement about it is like, oh no, that's that's a scam. It has to be a scam.
It still
So it was-
isn't. It's crazy. On CoinMarketCap, they fake the ranks to not show it in the. Cause it would be around top 10 now.
Sure, and they're being sued in front of the law, so they will have to account for that. But what's interesting is now he's developed his own version of Ethereum. He's pretty much forked Ethereum. It's called Pulse Chain, and he's changed a few variables to make, the speed faster. So settlement of every.
I don't want to go too.
You don't want to
into
go too deep
details,
into that. Yeah, but I think it's a big deal because there is still a good opportunity around Pulse X, which is going to be the DEX, and Hex, which is the coin itself. And I wanted to plug it here because it's life-changing money. When you give people the right information and it changes their financial future, it's profound, It's
So
profound.
2022, that's something that really excites you. Also,
Pulse Chain,
Pulse Chain, yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
I think one that excites a lot of people that can be related Ethereum 2.0 with the merge and it moving to proof of stake. But I know you're a little bit skeptical maybe on the timing.
I've been skeptical
know.
for a long time because software is hard. People who don't understand software, people who are new to crypto, they just have hopes and they get on Telegram groups where everybody is like, yeah, we're going to be rich. But the reality is to build software and to then add layers of complexity, maybe like this, it's actually very complex. And Vitalik Buterin himself says it could take a few years to bring ETH 2.0 to life. So even though it's supposed to solve a lot of problems, we've already seen newer technologies that have understood the pros and cons of Ethereum, and they built their project without all the crap that Ethereum is dealing with, and they're building up,
That's always going to happen. Like you're a bigger project, then you're slower to move. And I mean, that's also Bitcoin's even so slow, but still very valuable.
And again, you need to give respect where it's due. Ethereum changed the world in many ways. All the developers are on Ethereum. It's just, wow, we've reached a point where the technology is struggling for mass adoption. We're not quite there yet. And it's great to see 5 or 10 different Ethereum-like technologies out there, because I like this example. I think it's like cars. You will never see one brand of cars, may you like Audi or Ford or whatever. There is not one brand of car who rule the world. As a matter of fact, you have like 10 or 15 major brands, Toyota and whatever.
But you have that for social media, for example.
Yeah, but not so much. For social media, it's more concentrate, maybe 2 or 3 or 4.
Well, well, if you take search, I think Google's like bigger than all the other combined by far. So depends, like some networks, some industries with networks can be more tricky. But I definitely believe also in a cross-chain world later.
And then we've seen legal adoption in Salvador. El Salvador is now recognizing Bitcoin as a legal
using the Lightning
tender.
network to be able to process more transactions. Do you think that, do you see future in that, using the Lightning network to use Bitcoin?
No, we've been talking about that
as a
for
currency
so long.
rather than just a store of value?
We've been talking about that for so long. I think even if we finally go there, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Bitcoin and Ethereum myself. I think if you were into that 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, that was a great place to be. But yeah, the technology is becoming obsolete very quick. So even though Ethereum is the king because it's completely decentralized in its network, in the validator nodes, we have tens of thousands of computers around the world who are verifying the network, which makes it unbreakable. No government can shut it down because there is no switch to turn it on and off. So that's the real value of Bitcoin. Storage of value and real decentralization. Now, this doesn't mean that the coins who hold the coins is decentralized. We see a lot of whales who are accumulating a lot of coins, but the blockchain itself is really, really decentralized, and that is scary to the establishment, for sure. So I give respect to Bitcoin for what it is. I can also see many limitations. You cannot really program Bitcoin. Initially, it was programmable money. And we've never been able to even, turn it into like a an alarm clock or anything. We cannot program it for anything, really. So what we can do, though, is to store value safely. And I think it's cool to see countries accepting it.
Yeah, what El Salvador is doing is they're using the Lightning networks, though, to at least have faster transactions. It's not programmable like smart contract, but I don't know, it could be interesting.
Yeah, it may just speed up the transactions, but that's all that we'll do.
Also,
it's not going to change really.
You talked about establishment being scared. Do you have views for 2022 on what could happen there in terms of regulations and also how it would affect the market in general in 2022?
Well, I think the world is going nuts, just in case you haven't realized around yourself. Politics are screaming bigger and bigger lies by the day. People are really confused. They're not sure what to believe and what's real, what's not.
Do you think we could see also a collapse of the old fiat system in 2022?
Well, I don't see this happening in 2022. But it's going to happen and nobody knows when. We're going to reach a tipping point where things are going to move really fast. But now we're still in that building the pressure like a volcano. We are like building the pressure.
Inflation's creeping up.
We're printing money like quickly. No tomorrow, which means people are losing their buying power. The inflation is terrible. We're going to turn into super inflation in the coming years, in my opinion. And I'm not an economist. This is no financial advice. It's just everybody's talking about this over the internet. If you do enough research, this is mere entertainment. But to answer your question accurately, Alex, there are many different things that are showing we're about to see something big. We're about to experience a major change.
And we're ready for it.
Some of us are ready. I mean, as ready as we know. But the bottom line is, it seems that all that whole pandemic-y narrative thing is by design. It's part of that great reset of a one world currency, of all governments coming to an agreement. So you can see there is more and more centralization in the political arena and in the financial arena. And at the same time that this is becoming more and more obvious, there is a new technology emerging that is just saying, not that quick, guys. And now there is the choice given to people for the first time, for those of us who even want to be responsible or sovereign. For some of us, we just want to be governed, and it's fine.
And actually, it's interesting because you have this and these two kind of polarities, and at the same time, you have very clearly that old establishment that's trying to hijack beautiful, decentralized, transparent cryptocurrencies and use it actually to create a super dystopian controlling financial system. And that's through CBDCs and one world currency using some aspects of the digital currencies of blockchain, but of course, without the transparent part, without the decentralized part, without the permissionless part, and without all these parts that would make it beautiful. And then there are some Trojan horses there.
I mean, I won't give names, but you know, there are coins. There are coins in the top 10.
Internet computer was one of the worst I saw.
Absolutely shocking. That. We create a technology to change the world, and people just go back to what we know, and just amplify it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So hopefully, people stay in the spirit of cryptos, of decentralization, transparency, at least for the powers.
That's why I was
immutability, permissionless, open source.
That's why I was shilling Richard Hart and his projects, because he raised twice close to $1 billion without even launching his projects. And how he did this is, he believed freedom of speech is a birthright and it's in the Constitution and it should not be taken away. If you believe in this, you can sacrifice your money, participate in the project.
People who sacrifice money, they didn't sacrifice for freedom of speech. They sacrifice because they think they're going to make a good return on investment. It's nice that he said that, but that's not the whole story.
It's actually both. To me, it's actually both. And of course, everybody's in crypto to make money. Like, who are we?
Did you sacrifice because you wanted to support freedom of speech mainly, or because you thought it was a good investment?
Both. For me, I was absolutely delighted
Yeah, of
that
course,
on
of course.
top of creating an
Of course.
incredible technology, the guy is also aligned with my values.
Of course.
And I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we move a bit, I'd love to talk a little bit about two other things that have been emerging, and these ones keep emerging, even though the market, so it's been quite bullish, then a bit sideways. We don't really know. 2022, you can share a bit more, by the way, on this.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that keeps growing is NFTs and the metaverse.
Buzzwords.
Yeah, I had to place them in that episode.
Okay, sure. Sure, so NFTs, I'm going to hurt a lot of feelings here. I think what I like about NFTs is we can actually start to really program the blockchain and give it very specific functions. Some of them are really cool. You can have utility NFTs, which means these NFTs have a utility mechanism within an ecosystem or within a video game. So they are useful. Then you have NFT art, for example, which is just digitalizing anything you like and just tell people, oh, this is unique and it's worth this much.
I did a podcast with Jake Cobrin almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
I know you got one of his pieces.
Absolutely. I love Jake Cobrin and his art, and I wanted to support.
To Jake.
Yeah, Jake, this one is for you, mate. I wanted to support. I bought his art for 1 Ethereum back then, and it's a beautiful tarot card game, and it was the archetype of the lovers, beautiful art. But he's a visionary, and he's trying to help mass adoption with crypto. And again, that's where I wanted to put my energy, is into supporting these kind of artists that have a great reach as an influencer, and they can get more people in. So NFTs is so broad, but it's also so misunderstood. All I see these days, cheap ads on Instagram. Oh, you missed the CryptoPunks that started at $200 and sold for $80 million. Oh, you missed the apes, and they show you, they mislead you in believing that any NFT is going to be a successful 20 million X or whatever, whereas the reality is 98% of people lose money on NFTs. Again, unless they are utility NFTs. And so I'm not as excited as everybody else, but it's still very cool to see all the possibility that it's open. I know you like also NFTs for smaller businesses and for all sort of like.
Well, the way I like it is I don't attach the value of the NFT to the art. I attach it mainly to what it represents. So instead of selling a ticket, you sell an NFT. But then people buy the NFT because they want to be part of a mastermind, for example, or they want a ticket to the event. It happens to be an NFT. And so it can be something that you collect that's memorable. And let's say you join a mastermind, you pay for the mastermind. But let's say in 5 years, it becomes its own sovereign nation. Well, then maybe the first people to join that mastermind, rather than you got a ticket and it's lost, then it becomes a piece of art, but also a piece of meaning, of history that could gain value. So like a bonus.
I get all of this. I just think it's overhyped when everybody is talking about something that's usually when you need to exit. Because what's happening currently, you buy something for $20, I buy it for $50, you buy it for $200, I buy it for $1,000. At some point, this game needs to stop. And the last person who bought the thing for $50,000 is like, oh, shit, I got into that compulsion.
Hey, honey.
I sold the house.
I sold the house, but look
at this pixelated, absolutely useless thing. And
Okay.
even the technology behind NFTs that very few people are familiar with. It's actually hosted on the internet. Like it's not fully on the blockchain. So that's what I mean. People don't do enough due diligence, and they get sold on the marketing aspect. Now, the metaverse is something that is fascinating, Alex, and a lot of us are revolted about it. This is Armageddon. This is Skynet from Terminator 2. This is the end of human race, and everybody's going to get fat and living in different realities in their beds. That's a conversation.
For context, metaverse are these virtual realities created on the blockchain, and the risk is that people also put their virtual reality goggles or Oculus Rift, and then they start spending more and more time in that virtual reality and totally forget
and escape real life.
the reality.
Yeah, but like the truth of the matter is we started this in the 1990s. Okay, so metaverses were called differently, but this technology is 30 years old. The thing you used to put on your head was a brick. It was humongous. But back in the days, people thought the technology was just around the corner. And now, fast forward 30 years, we see this madness with Decentraland and Sandbox and people who are buying. I have a friend who bought $400,000 for a pixelated piece of land in Decentraland. That's a lot of money, and that's a big gamble. I hope she makes a good gain on that. But what I was about to say is we are still so early and people are frenetic about the technology. But the technology itself is not really good. If you go in Decentraland yourself, does it feel to you like you are in an alternate world, like in Avatar?
No,
not at all. Not at all. And so I think
look around, sucks compared to our reality.
Yeah.
Maybe a few things. Maybe it's easier to travel right now, probably, if you're in Decentraland.
If you're in Decentraland, you can travel, yeah. No, but it's cool. I love all of that. I'm fascinated about it. I think if people can maintain balance, they will get something out of it. They will have benefits from using that technology. But again, if they use the technology as an addiction or an escape, the shadows will just take them down and it would be horrible.
You could totally see a world where people live mainly in that metaverse and then sometimes say, oh, wait, I'll go to the old offline world because I need to eat and poop and I'll be back. And it's just like some kind of world where we go. I mean, I did that. We talked about it yesterday. I did that analogy. It's like even if I take plant medicine sometimes, or let's say I take ayahuasca, and if when I'm on the plant, it feels like I've been on a trip to this reality here, and then I came back home, and and it feels a little bit like this, you know. So maybe the way that we are here, like it's reality, but then on plants, at least I feel like that reality isn't so real in a way, and that the real reality is more into oneness and being pure consciousness than being incarnated in that body. Well, maybe their perception will be the same, is that sometimes they go into the offline world and it's a bit awkward and you don't really know because it's not what you used to, but I don't know, it's an interesting experience. But then the world you're comfortable in, and then your new reality becomes the metaverse.
In saying all of this, Alex, you asked at the beginning of the podcast what we see for 2022, and I think we're going to go through a sort of a winter with crypto, and we've been calling this for about pretty much 6 months ago. So usually when everybody screams for the moon, that's when you want to exit and wait.
Markets right now are a little bit in fear though, because it's been going
the market
down
is in
quite a
fear
bit.
for sure. We're due for retracement, but in saying this, I believe that the next bull run will be around metaverses and video games.
Okay.
I'm not a gamer myself, but I can see the network, the number of users.
Facebook looks like they agree.
Facebook,
With the
I mean,
rebranding to
you know
Meta.
my views on Facebook. I know your views on Facebook.
Well, I think it's very similar to what we said with internet computer, this kind of fake crypto projects that are actually Trojan horse for more control and dystopia. Well, it's the same with the metaverse. There'll be some that can be more interesting and more, I think, more benevolent, and will create interesting experiences for people to open their mind using virtual reality to create experiences that enriches them. That's possible. And there might be, but a project like Meta, I'm pretty sure what they'll want to do is to turn you into a user that's a data machine, basically, and really try to addict you more and more, as they've been doing with Facebook, and they'll do the same with Meta, obviously being centralized, not sharing their code and all that.
Well, they will try to do what they do, and we will have more and more choices. So it's really about sovereignty, I suppose, and making informed choices.
But still, it's interesting that such a big company goes there.
I mean, it's inevitable. They are writing codes for a living. for sure they were about to ride that wave and invest billions of dollars to try and dominate. Facebook is trying to become the Google of metaverses, and they already have all the users, so it makes total sense. But again, for me, I think if people are in crypto to make money and to invest, the next bull run will be exclusively about metaverses. We will see trillions of dollars coming in. I would look at projects like Engine, maybe not Mana and Decentraland as much, but projects that are creating infrastructure for metaverses. I would be very curious to look into these and choose maybe 10 projects and put like a few $1,000s in each. And that's when you will see 20, 30x, 50x, 100x.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cryptos in 2022, there's something I'm quite excited about, is the emergence of Web 3.0. So maybe it's less of a market thing. I mean, we'll see, markets can follow, but also in terms of, I think in 2022, that's something I'm excited about, to see tools that make it easier to implement decentralized governance.
Yeah, I know that's something you're really big on with all your businesses and private affairs. And
Web3 in general, maybe also seeing new types of social media that belong to their users. And so in the Web3 approach to a social media, users own the platform and govern it too. So then maybe they don't go towards addictive practices. Like a shareholder, they want, we want to extract value, but as a user, like, I want my platform to be nice. And to see how this go, or if it's still too early and utopian. I
have a very dear friend actually who introduced me to one of the founder of Ethereum, and this is confidential in a way, but I have knowledge that some replacement of social media better than Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram combined is about to be released to the public, and that would be, like you said, decentralized and actually designed for the people. So I hope I'm not like infringing with any like timelines or secrets by sharing this in your podcast, but
that's fine.
I think we may see this happen in 2022, and I would be one of the first to jump on that platform and use it and test it. Yes, I'm very excited if we have a platform that's decentralized, that gives power, governance, and value back to the users, that's owned by the users for social media and for many things, but social media I think is one that we really want. So I'll see if what you shared is going to happen. And I'd be one of the most excited about it. I have groups around these topics, finding the new tech, the new social media that serves us. Because, and that's a discussion we had also, it's like sometimes people say tech is neutral. Well, in the case of something like Facebook or Instagram, I don't think the tech is neutral. I think we can, with our willpower, overcome it, but it's still really taking our attention and trying to make us behave a certain way. So I'm looking forward to technology that stops doing that, basically. Yeah, I think it's a good timing to bring decentralization in the picture. Technology, unfortunately, in the early 2000s, by the force of things, technology evolved towards centralization in terms of data storage, in terms of servers, in terms of search engines. It wasn't malicious in the beginning. It just was more efficient. And then as we realized the power that was coming with access to all that data, of course, some people got tempted to use it against the users, and they did. What I'm excited, if I can just pause you on this, with Web3 is actually, I was thinking there's 2 layers of decentralization. It's like something like Ethereum is quite decentralized in itself, but then if you have interoperability, then you have different blockchains. Well, what something like Facebook did is not only Facebook is centralized, but by the very nature that they want to create closed ecosystem and not allow you to be, it's not easy to share your data with a competitor, for example. Well, then it's a double level of centralization. The company is centralized and it doesn't want you to use other companies. Absolutely. I mean, it's a disgrace. It was cool, 5 or 10 years ago. It was great, but we've seen the shadows and the limitation of that technology. I don't use it much. It's linked to my Instagram. I've been banned last year or a year and a half ago, and if it wasn't for my special phone, they could not totally ban me, so to speak. So if I try to log in my Facebook account from any devices, I can't. But because I'm still logged in from that phone, I've been able to keep on posting my controversial views on that platform. And that was funny in a way. So the thing with Facebook, they tried to bring their own money, Libra it was called. And then they got head to head with the powers that be, and they got like, you can't do that.
That's actually, if I can pause there, that's super interesting, because in a way, the fact that governments are trying to control more cryptos pushes towards more decentralization. Because the projects that want to do their own currency, cryptocurrency, I mean, you can't really even call it a cryptocurrency when it's too centralized, but at least their own digital currency.
Digital money, yeah.
With their own digital money, then they get in trouble, because US governments or Facebook, you want to do your currency, you're going to compete with the dollar. We don't want that. And the only way to escape that is to make it so decentralized that that can't happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny, because if you look at the world that way, the US dollar ruled the world. Why is this? Some people say it's not backed by anything. It's backed by the most powerful army on the planet.
That's actually very interesting.
And if you disagree with their politics, they will send the most powerful army to your country and bomb you and innocent people. And that's how the politics work. When you come out of delusion and sleep, you realize it's forceful. People are scared. We don't have the guns, and that's how they enforce their dollar.
I love that you make that distinction, because before you told me, I thought, oh yeah, dollars is backed by nothing, and actually it's
backed.
Yeah, it is backed by force.
Right,
basically.
and so anyone in a corporation or a centralized, business trying to challenge that power, they're gonna to get it, because the establishment is established for hundreds of years, possibly thousands of years. Now, what's going on with the technology? They can't control it, and that's what's fascinating. That's what's really irritating for them. They could not ban video streaming. They've been trying or sharing music on the internet without buying. Back in my days, Bitcoin. 20 years ago, like it was a crime to download music. 25 years later, did they stop it? No. Did they do that with music, with movies? No. So then you realize, wow, the powers that be actually don't have as much power as we think they do. They are really organized, they are really resourceful, and they are scary because they are forceful.
They have the force.
But now with the technology, this whole power dynamic is shifting, and that's the revolution of crypto and blockchain. That's why it's not about Bitcoin. It's about we have the chance to completely change how this world is working.
And I want to go back to, and thank you for that, to 2022, because we're going towards the end of that episode. Yeah. Are there like things in 2022 you'd really like to share to the listeners? So you think we might go towards a correction before maybe going higher? Again, you're not a financial advisor. You don't have a crystal ball. You really like the projects Pulse Chain, PulseX that are launching. Not so optimistic about Ethereum 2.0. Excited about probably metaverse that could be the next bull run. So we talked a bit about that. Is there anything else that comes to you that you feel excited about?
Look, I suppose everybody has opinions, and I'm no different. It's just I spend so much time breathing crypto, basically, that the way I see things is a bit different. And I'm not attached. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not here to make people happy. Everybody was calling Bitcoin $100,000 end of last year. I was like, no, for sure, no. Like for many on-chain data and for many reasons, I could see that this was just the hope of the people, but it doesn't make it a reality. So 2022, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bitcoin having a stronger retracement and possibly a winter, actually. I don't like to do predictions, to make predictions, because when you're wrong, then you kind of lose a bit of credibility.
Maybe what are you excited about?
But I would like to share with you that I think we are going to see a winter in crypto, but it will be shorter. It will be with less than a year. So 3 to 9 months, I would say. Once Bitcoin is at $20,000, $25,000 or $15,000, that's it. We will see we will see another burst. I'm just excited right now. I've stopped being so distracted by the thousands of new projects. I see new projects on my desk every week, brother, like by the dozen. So what I done is I minimalized my research, my domain of expertise, and I stay within certain ecosystems that I see value in. All the new stuff, all the shiny object syndrome, I just look at it quickly, but I don't waste my time because most of it is garbage, rug pull, just crap. People who don't even want to show their face, they have never accomplished another project before. I'm not interested in any of that. So within the ecosystem that I've chosen, I just keep up with what they're developing. And I think Richard Hart is doing something very unique. It's the biggest airdrop in crypto history. That's not nothing. And I think even if we are in a bear market, we could see these kind of projects doing very well, like 10x, 50x, when everybody else is struggling to even, make 10% gains. So I'm excited about this, to be honest. And I'm also excited about stepping back, actually, a little bit, and taking more time to go back into more personal things, with my partner on Baya, and with practices, in terms of like yoga and self-development and maintain that balance. So you need to know when to be obsessed with crypto and also when to step back and give it a bit of space once you've planted the seeds.
That's nice. And we were thinking as we were recording the crypto course right here in Nusalem Bongan, that maybe then's the beginning of more courses. And I know you have a lot of expertise in many other things around detox, around tantra. And I'm excited for that. So how can people follow you?
Well, find me on Instagram if you'd like. They call me Fab. Maybe we can put a link below, but that's about it. I'm not I'm not too much on social media. And then, we will keep on creating good content together. We've just finished the course here to help people to get access to proper information. There's just so much crap out there. It's an ocean of misinformation because people learn crypto for 3 months and they go on and teach you and they have no clue what's going on. So what I like with you is like it's super humble, it's super friendly, like we're not overdoing it, and our intent for this course was really to give genuine advice, like the way I wished I learned crypto. That would have saved us so much time and money. And that's cool to create digital content and also that community of people with similar values, people who want to eat a different way, people who want to grow as individuals, and people who want to manifest their visions instead of just talking about their dreams and giving up on life. It's cool. It's a good energy to be around. And again, thank you for sharing all your resources and all your inspiration with me on these projects, because I wouldn't even have done courses if it wasn't for that friendship. So
thanks.
I'm very happy with that.
Thanks. And I was really motivated to do it because through our friendship, I actually feel like I saved so much time, so much money, being into cryptos, got so much wisdom, even though sometimes I had those impulses to do something. And within like 2 years, I could see also how some people are because I'm someone who likes to challenge. So sometimes you were saying things and I would challenge you a lot. And of course, you're not always right. And you told me about project that completely collapsed.
Once.
But that's part of the game, of course. Yeah. But overall, I could see analyzing the whole ecosystem and the people who I followed, the influencers. I could see some people doing very well for 3 months, getting super confident in the bull market and then getting wrecked. And what I find with you is I saw that wisdom. And at first, sometimes I challenged it, but the more time goes by, the more I see you were right on most of it. So it's been really inspirational for me to follow that. And then it's really cool that we can put that in a course and offer that wisdom and knowledge to more and more people.
Yeah, and I suppose to wrap up on that, what you share is like, if all you're doing is sharing your embodied wisdom, it doesn't matter what you became good at. If you do something for 10 years, like for sure, you're going to become reasonably good at it. I mean, hopefully. And so if people were into sharing more of their direct experience and their wisdom, I think the community will be thriving in a different way. Because what I see a lot is we are so conditioned to live in the mental dimension. People read a book and they make it their truth. You know, they take a 2-week Tantra workshop in Thailand and they go back to Europe and now they are Tantra teachers and authorities in the field. And it's just, if people could just be patient and earn their wings, so to speak. I know we all want to be seen, we all want to be somebody, but if we're not sharing a transmission with people, we may hurt them or we may cause them more harm that we even know. And I think that what makes us different is we have earned that wisdom through work and consistency over the years. And
I'm very proud of the course we just did. I mean, we'll see when it's released too. But yeah, it's been, I mean, more than a year we're teaching people and doing lives, but here doing it very professionally. It's been a challenge. It's been also a bit hard sometimes. Also a pleasure, but also a challenge. And
that's a lot of work.
But now, yeah, we have like taking people from beginner and really drilling down the most essential. I'm super looking forward to it. And so there's and it's for free. So the first level, we did a whole first level, and now we're totally free with
a free beginner's course
thing for beginners.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do this podcast also for free. Then there's more about 2022, like what's now. Well, the free course is meant to be something that stays relevant for years.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
so
thank you
Fab,
so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for the collab. Always a pleasure.
Love you, brother. And thank you for your audience for taking the time to tune in. And
thanks, guys. And if you want to check the course, we chose the name too. What's our name?
Crypto Jedi.
Crypto Jedi. So if you go to cryptojedi.pro, and that's where you have the website.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, guys. I think also if you go to thelightleaders.org/crypto, if it's easier for you, we'll redirect there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll see you very soon. Thank you for following. Don't hesitate to share too.
See you later, guys.